They separated. They had their family, had 3 kids together, and they separated. And he married another woman that had been married too. But
how did he end up with Opal then? Is Opal his third wife?
Second wife.
Second wife. So Opal's. And Opal, we saw her a couple years ago when we went there. So.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill married this is a kind of a mixed-up family. Uncle Gene's sister married the man that she married his last name was Stone, and they lived out at Eagle Lake. And he married. Let's see now.
So Uncle Gene's sister married this guy named Stone.
Married a Stone, and they had a child. And Uncle Russell married that child. Not Uncle Russell, Uncle Bill married that child.
Gotcha.
Lois, her last name was Stone,
Okay.
but her mother was a Godman.
Okay, gotcha.
So that made some of Aunt Fern's family double related.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
So I got to get that right again. So Uncle Gene's
sister.
Right. Okay. So but there was no blood tie by any means.
No.
It's just just family. Okay,
Right.
I gotcha. Okay. So did Uncle Bill and her remain together?
Yeah, they're still together.
They're still married then?
They're neither one well. She's been not well for a long time. She's got diabetes real bad. She's well overweight.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And Uncle Calvin, of course, he's my oldest brother. He married a girl. And he went to war just shortly after he married her. They had very little time together. And they had dated for a long time. They dated some and then dated with others some. And then they finally settled down to the 2 of them. And they finally decided to go ahead and get married. They kind of put it off because of the war. And decided they was going to go ahead and get it. And just shortly after they got married, they called him into the service.
Right. Now, I remember you said that after he died, she didn't really want much to do with any of the...
Oh, she didn't feel like writing to us a lot. She didn't want to write. But her mother stayed in contact with me a lot and told me different things that how she was doing and that kind
I'm guessing she's passed on.
Yeah, she died the year that Aunt Fern and Charlotte and Aunt Linda and Aunt Lynn and I went back to Arkansas. Do you remember that at all?
I don't. But
well, anyway, the 5 of us went back there to Arkansas. She was still alive when we went back there.
Did you get to see her? Oh, good.
Got to see her. Yeah, her mother had died sometime. Of course, she a lot
older. Yeah.
And we met her. She finally married another guy and had 1 child by him. But she said that she never quit loving Calvin.
Well, how can you?
Yeah.
Hard to forget your first love, I guess.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So then, Uncle Calvin, did he come out west with you guys as well, or?
He came out with Grandpa and Granny and Aunt Fern the year that they came out. When they came back, he stayed out here.
Yeah.
And then he finally went back for a while, and then he came back and he lived here for several years, and then he went to let's see, the year that he didn't stay very long. Maybe he didn't go back. I'm thinking he went back. I'll have to think on that one. I can't remember. Because he went back there to live when I had Aunt Leanna in November, and about the 1st of January he left to go back to Arkansas to stay. And then he was back there for several months before they got married, and then after they got married, it was the end of the war.
And so you were already living out west when he passed away then?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had Aunt Linda and Aunt Leanna both when he died.
How well did you know him?
Huh?
I mean, he was quite a bit older than you, right?
He was a little over 5 years.
Oh, that isn't too much then. I thought he was quite a bit older than that, so. I'm trying to remember where we laid off.
Can't remember by me.
What's that?
I say you can't prove it by me because I don't try to remember it.
Well, I think we talked about all the way up to you were 17 and
yeah.
headed out to California. So when you got out there, where did you? Said it took about a week for you to go out. Did you end up in Susanville as well, or?
No, we went straight to Ravendale.
So that's where he found you the jobs?
Yeah. That's where Granny worked. Granny and Fern, too, did afterwards. I mean, Granny started working there, and then Aunt Fern went up there. They both worked up at Ravendale. And I'm not sure. I know my dad worked in a restaurant in Susanville.
But you don't know where at, or... Wait, isn't that where Walker's was or something?
No, it was uptown. Walker's was farther down. But I don't remember what the name of it was. And I don't... Uncle Calvin eventually went... I guess he went to work at Terminal.
Okay.
For the guy that had Terminal store. Although whole Terminal, that's all...
You're talking your brother, Calvin.
Yeah. So they all worked, there. And we went straight to Ravendale when we came, all of us came together and rented a cabin there in Ravendale.
Right in town?
Yeah. And like I say, Aunt Fern and I, we got there on Good Friday, and Uncle Gene immediately came to see Aunt Fern. Of course, they'd been dating, in the summer before.
Right.
And Grandpa and I had wrote to each other, and when they came back home.
Well, how did you come across? How did you meet Grandpa?
Okay, Aunt Fern and Granny knew him at Ravendale while they were working at Ravendale, and so Aunt Fern showed him a picture of me, and he said that was the one he wanted. so anyway,
quite the romantic, huh? Quite the romantic. That's the one I want.
And he wanted me to write to him, and of course that wasn't what people did in those days. Man approached a woman,
Right.
And so I told him he'd have to write to me. I told Aunt Fern he'd have to write to me first. So he did, and we corresponded during the wintertime. That when Granny and Grandpa and all of them came back to Arkansas.
What happened to all your correspondence? You keep it?
No, I kept them for a long time, but I finally discarded them. Not thinking about anything like this.
Right. That's all.
And so then when we got out here, Uncle Gene immediately, Aunt Fern and I, the first thing we did was want to have a bath. We'd been traveling, and a whole bunch of us in the car, and lots of stuff that we had to bring with us. And so we took baths, and he took us out. He was going to take us for a ride. That's all I knew. I guess Aunt Fern knew where he's going, but took me right straight out to the ranch to meet Uncle Tommy, or to meet Grandpa.
Wow, okay. Now, who was taking you out? Godman?
Yeah. Aunt Fern's husband, Uncle Gene, yeah.
Okay.
And that would have been we got there on Friday and went out on Friday. And then his mother fixed dinner for us on Saturday, I believe it was, for all of us. Invited him in. And then he and Grandpa and I and Aunt Fern and Gene went to a movie on Sunday in Susanville. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Uncle Gene didn't have a car or anything.
So was it all by wagon, or how did you get down?
No. His dad had a car, and he drove the car.
Okay.
Uncle Gene drove the car.
Huh.
We went into Ravendale, saw a movie, and then on Monday morning, Aunt Fern and I went to work.
So were you working as a? What did you do there as a?
Everything we could. We mostly was cooking and washing dishes and stuff like that. They fed the train crews all stopped at Ravendale to take on water and to eat.
Okay.
They started at Wendell
Uh-huh.
and went to Althurst. I don't know. I think Althurst was far. They might have gone.